Hi my friends, it's Pat Sloan here. So a couple things. First, the quilt behind me, let me just tip the chair. The quilt behind me is from the Perfect 10 book. Up. This is the Perfect 10 book, and it is called the Banana Quilt. It is now listed under every video that from the other day when I first had it up there forward. So that is where that quilt is. And I did do, I can't remember, I did these little cornerstones here in a couple spots. Where is it? Up here, just to accent, and then down here, just to accent. And that's not in the pattern, but you can see it on the picture. And then of course I did the colorations so that you had those, sort of, green and red, and then down to the light, to the light colors down there. Okay, so that's where that one is, the Perfect 10 book, and the link to that book is in the description box under this video. If you've never done that, just go where you can see the text under the video, and then it says like more or see more, something like that. Just click it, and whoop, all this stuff opens up and you can see all the links. Okay, so first, back up the truck, beep, 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 back up the truck. Okay, so when I was talking about the backing for the Barn Star, and I was showing you how I sort of do the calculation, I didn't realize that I was actually not, a couple things happened. One, I decided like on the spur of the moment to do that. On the video, I wasn't like pre-planned that I would lay that out. All of a sudden I was thinking I need to figure this out, so I'll just do it on video. So I was doing it how I kind of do it just for myself, and I didn't verbalize all of the things that were in my head for that, because I wasn't really focused that it was being out there and that some of you were going to watch that and want to duplicate it exactly for that quilt. So that's where the problem came in, because I was kind of just doing an example, and it came across more specific than that, and so some of you were quite confused. So let's do it again, but exactly for the Barn Star quilt. So here's the Barn Star quilt. And the Barn Star quilt, as you see it here, with no border at all, nothing. The points go right out to where your binding is on every block. That is 80 by 100. But I am not making mine 81 by 100. And I had a few people write, why are you adding a border? Or you should do this kind of a border, or that kind of a border, or no border. And it's like, okay, so why am I doing a border? I am doing a border that is not symmetrical in size because, one, it is very long. I don't need it any longer. And two, it's not wide enough for me to have as a bed quilt with a drop to use. So I'm not using this quilt as art. I'm going to use this quilt on the bed to use it. So I need the drop to be a bit longer. So that is why I am doing that. Okay, so what do we have? I'm going to sort of draw sideways there so that I don't have to keep messing around with the camera. So I'm going to be sideways but drawing everything. So we have an 80 wide by 100 quilt top, right? Okay, I think you can see this. Okay, 80 wide by 100 quilt top. I am going to add, so if my 80 wide, I am adding 4 inches on each side. So I'm adding 4 inches on each side. So my top will be 88, and that's the top, okay, the quilt top. And this is the width. Now the length is 100 plus, I'm just adding 1 inch on the top and the bottom so that I can have a little bit of leeway with all those points. So that is 102. And this is, I'm working on this quilt top size. Okay, so that's the quilt top size. Now will be 88 by 102 versus 80 by 100. Okay, so 88 by 102. Now I need to do the backing. So the backing size. So I'm going to take, for the width, if I'm going to add 4 inches on either side of the backing, so that would be 88, right? This 88 right here, plus 4 inches plus 4 inches equals 96, right? So that's the math. The length would be 102 plus 4 plus 4. And I probably don't need that. I can ask the long armor, does she actually need for her rolling on the things, all 4? Is that going to be too much? But if it were, that would be 110 number of inches. So now we have an 86 by 110 backing size in order to go on the long arm. You know, if you were quilting this big boy at your house on your domestic sewing machine, you would probably not want that much extra. You might do 2 inches on either side instead of 4 inches on either side to give yourself some, particularly with a big quilt, or you could just trim it down before you start sewing it and before you start quilting it, because this is a monster to do on your home machine. It's a big. Okay, so that means I need 96 by 110 for the back. So that would be, let's pretend this is, you know, we're not up to scale, but this is 96 by 110, right? So that's what you have. And I have 3 segments like this of fabric, because I'm going to just show you the same way I did it before, which is vertical seams. Many long armors like to have horizontal seams like this if you do horizontal, but I'm going to show you this way because this is how my brain works. Like I said the other day, because I'm doing the length of fabric, this is how it works. Okay, so this would be 40, this would be 40. That means I need 16 inches here, and then 110 is, so 110 is 3 yards and 2 inches. And so I probably don't need, you know, the 2 inches on there. She's probably going to be okay for the backing not to have that on the length, but I'll just check with my long armor to be sure. And so when I was doing these calculations, I came up with pretty much the same thing the other day. I had 3 yards and I had 95. You know, it's pretty much, this is 96 and this is 3 yards 2 inches. I was kind of filling in the blanks for myself a little bit, and I knew it was rough. I just was kind of doing it rough. So sorry to have confused some of you. I didn't mean to do that. I hope that helps now. As you can see, that is the exact way to figure it out. Plus, you have a little leeway there depending on who is doing your quilting and how much backing they want you to, you know, provide for them. So talk to your long armor. Talk to the spa. Okay. Don't forget to download your December calendar if you haven't done that yet, because it's super important to keep track and know what everything is that's going on so you don't feel lost. You don't want to feel lost. Also, Kendall, our ambassador, I just have to tell you, he interviewed my friend Barbara Klein the other day. Barbara Klein is an amazing designer. She creates these awesome geometric style quilts, and Kendall interviewed her for his YouTube channel. So I have a link to that interview in the description box below. All right, we're going to talk about the Quilted Witch. So let me get that out. We're on to the next block of the Quilted Witch quilt along, which is which. It's hard to say. You have to say that is instead of which, right? So we have another little group of blocks, and they are super easy this week. Yes, they are. This is the shoe fly. So we're on the shoe fly block, and you only have to do 4 of them. 4 little blocks. There we go. There they are. I want to talk a little bit about sort of the makeup of this quilt in a way. So just so that you're aware, I am doing the version without the witch. I made a layout, a separate layout. Whoops. I made a separate layout without the witch that you can download. There's all kinds of directions that you can put it together, and I'll be assembling it here on the video so you can just follow along. But at some point when the witch starts being assembled, instead we will do pumpkins and leaves and just start assembly, because it'll be a little bit different process. It's a little bit smaller quilt. Also, there's a lot of block making before you kind of get to where you can assemble anything. So we're still sort of in that block making mode. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my blocks, but I have them up on the wall. Let me go grab them. For my blocks, I am using the other fabrics in the line, not the background fabric. Here's the background fabric for what I'm doing. And for these and several of the others, I'm not using any background fabric. That way I get to work with the pretty fabrics from the fabric line. And so the aquas read pretty light. We talked about that. I think it was on the last video I did for the Quilted Witch, where in this particular line of fabric, aquas are going to read light. And then I did do one here that has, it's real light, kind of fadey, and I think that that's fun to have every so often. It just gives it a fun look. You will note on a lot of the blocks in the book that they will have a lot of background. So like these little blocks here, they have some background on the four corners, but I did not do mine like that. And you can kind of see that in the drawing, in the drawing, which is not, well, there we go. You know, the drawing isn't like a photograph, but you can see that they're different fabrics. Mine are the same. So I did the same fabrics for all the positions, for the cross part and on the outer corners. And that's how I wanted mine to look. So let's go on the design wall where you can see them all up there. First, let us show you, what they are in place of what we have made already. So that is all I can do so far. And we are like on week 4. But after the next couple weeks, then we'll have more of these piece blocks that can then be going in between here, so we can actually start to sew. We end up sewing the left vertical. That's how it's set up, and then there's left side, right side. So that's kind of how it's assembled. Not across like you're looking at it here. So the other blocks, and this is the background that I'm using. So there would be a lot of that color, and that's why I decided that it would be just fun for a lot of these blocks to not have this, no background, instead use the fabric so I can enjoy more of the fabrics. So I've got all of these blocks, all of these blocks that I'll just take a second and just put them up on the wall. So color-wise there, you can see them. All of this is not in placed at all of where it will be. They'll be in other parts of the quilt, but it's kind of fun to see them all up there. I love how it's turning out. These fabrics are all a little bit larger scale that I've talked about, and I have to work with them a little bit differently. The aquas have to be considered the light, so that's the way it goes. Here is the version I'm doing on the right. You can see with the witch and then without the witch on the right. And so that's what I am making. Okay, fun stuff. Still can't sew any units together, but that's okay. We have about 3 more weeks of just making blocks until we can start to assemble things. And so that's kind of the plan, and where we'll have the focus of the Quilted Witch is once we get those 3 more weeks of blocks, then we can start assembling parts of it, and that's what we'll do some weeks, particularly when the witch making happens. For those of you making the witch part, it is a little bit more, that takes a little bit more time, and we will do assembly instead. So our schedules will be a little bit different if you're making the witch or not making the witch, because it is a different layout and it's slightly smaller. Okie dokie. Now, do you remember when I told you about the Quilts of Valor book, and they did a presentation in Paducah, and our ambassador Lylene and ambassador Dennis both went, and their family members were gifted and presented a quilt from the book, and Dennis's aunt received my quilt, and Lylene's brother-in-law received one of the other quilts. Well, Lylene sent me a signed copy. Here is my pattern in the book, And she got the signatures. See the 3 signatures, the author, here's Sue Reich, and then her brother-in-law, and over here is Aunt Mary for Dennis's aunt. So, so exciting. Thank you again, Lylene, for doing that for me. It's a treasure, just a treasure. And then she found in the gift shop the tiniest, cutest, stinking cute little chicken she had to get from me. And look at this. Look at that. Look at his little face. I love him. I love him so much. Thank you. All right, we have the Sew Sampler box. You should have gotten yours. If you didn't, you know, scoot ahead in the video. But Sew Sampler box is a subscription box from the Fat Quarter Shop, and we're just going to dive in my usual manner. So I don't look at it in advance. Oh, get that out of the way. Okay, so I don't look at it in advance. It has a theme, and the theme here says Friends Forever with a Dog and a Cat. Okay, so that usually has a small bit of the theme. It's kind of like my quilt blocks, you know, they have a small bit of theme. There is the guide tells you what all the different things are, but I never look at that first because I want to see what's in it for myself. And then there is a coupon on the back for Fat Quarter bundles. So you got a coupon code to use. So don't forget to use that. That's a great coupon code. Okay, what's in here? So we've got some Wonder Clips, red ones, red Wonder Clips. Now that is good. I like red Wonder Clips. Perfect. We have got some variegated thread. So there's some variegated thread. That's really pretty. Very pretty. I like variegated thread. We have some classy clamps. So look at that. These are for hanging your quilt, and there's no rod pocket. So you just have the quilt being put between these clamps. I mean, I've known about these for a long time. I do believe they make several sizes of them. Let me just get it out of the box so you can see it a little better. Hold on. So here's the clamp where you can see it sideways, right? So you would unscrew this so far, then your quilt would fit in there. You have to unscrew further than that. Your quilt would fit in here, and then you screw it back down. And so this has to go on the wall. So you've got to have some, hardware to put it on the wall. But this is great. These are great. People love them, and they work really nicely. I mean, the larger your quilt, you're going to need more of them, so it doesn't sag or drag or pull. Because this is like giant clothespins in a way. It's clamping like a clothespin would, but with a screw. So, okay. And now let's see. There should be a doggy part for this, which looks like it's probably the fabric. This is Tula Pink fabric, yes. And it is her Besties. It's her Besties fabric line. Okay, let's break this open. Let's break it open. I want to see the fabric. I've heard, this fabric line was coming out, but I really don't know what is on it. But I assume animals now. I see a fire hydrant. There's some dogs. There's some dogs and some fire hydrants. Yeah, that's cute. That is cute. So what is on this one? Why is my camera like so messed up? There we go. Oh, fish. Is your best friend a fish? Oh, hamsters and rabbits. Okay, so this is a fabric line that's out so that you can order pieces if you love them. Oh, rabbits, not hamsters. These are all rabbits. And then she often has images in the design. So there are some turtles like in here, or lizards maybe. Yeah, see the lizards. And then here are some smaller cats. And oh, here's our hamster. Here's the hamster there. What have we got? Oh, this is the best friends, be friends. It's got like a necklace with a heart, and then some companion prints. Now the Fat Quarter Shop always has a pattern And so here is the pattern. This is a free pattern exclusive to the box for using these fabrics. That's a really nice one. That's a nice pattern, 60 by 60. So you use these fat quarters and some extra fabric, and that'd be really cute. Plus, this is what's going on, is the free block pressed flowers. And so let me show you mine in Sleepover. There we go. So let's just look up here. I'll talk with you. Okay, so here is mine. Nice, right? Now there's on the package is, you know, it's got a similar feel. So, you know, kept the colors all the same spot. I like how the back here is kind of light. Okay, I'm going to pop all of these pressed flowers up on the wall to end the video. Hold on. And there they are together, the pressed flowers. This is the newest one, this month's. They are so fabulous together. There is a setting that comes at the very end. It doesn't look like that. That's just so you can see them together. So there will be a setting, but it's a surprise that comes at the end, so I can't tell you what it is. Oh, so cool. You can get each pattern individually. You can purchase individually if you are not getting the sampler box. You know, the sampler box that comes with it, but you can do it after, you know, and you can buy it on their website. I have a link in the description box below. Plus, I just found out my drawing room fat quarter bundles are actually in now. They got done much faster than expected. So yes, you can get your drawing room bundles for working along with whatever of the projects that I'm doing with my fabric line drawing room. So, okay, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.